Oh! Oh! Hello! My name's Quinlan. And this is Melbourne Musos Live. Oh, I'm not stopping. I'm going to talk about the long line, which I have in the past. What I'm doing here is a single stroke roll. And one of the things that sometimes what I try to do is just to keep it going. And one of the things is when I play stuff like this, I try and make it as melodic as possible, not just a constant single stroke roll, say on a practice pad or anything like that, but try and create colour. So what I'm doing tonight is wanting to sort of share with you a little bit how you can get around the drums by keeping an even flow. So that's what I'm talking about. One of the great books is Stick Control by George Lawrence Stone, which I have behind me right there. I'll get it when I stop. And what I'm trying to do here is create some kind of melodic content by keeping the flow going as a single stroke roll, throwing in double taps, mixing it up, but keeping the flow. With that, you've got two main taps. You've got a single tap, double tap. And then what happens is that when you're trying to put things together in a melodic way, you could go soft, loud, medium, and everything in between. Now, if you think like a volume control on a phone, 1 to 10, think of three numbers, soft, medium, and loud. 3, 5, and 7. If I'm playing 3, that's piano, pop. And what happens is if I go even lower down to 2, it's PP. Every time you add a P, it's a very, very soft. And if it's just that 1, PPP, or whisper, then you can get to medium, which is 5. You could get to 7, which is loud. I'm just doing a single stroke roll. But it's the dynamics that's creating something. We see it in our voice if we want to make something heard, if you know what I mean. Then you can bring in the double stroke roll, move it around the drums without breaking up the flow. So you see what I'm doing here? Dynamics 1 to 10. Accents. And my challenge is to sort of keep this going as long as I can, right? Now, start bringing in other things like a Latin bass drum. Now, when you're hearing things like the drummers of Burundi, which I've mentioned, I'll keep that as a bit of a conceptual continuity. When you first hear them, it just sounds like boom, 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 all the way through. But then, on a closer listen, you start to hear the little rhythms going inside inside, outside, all sorts of things. Now what I could do with this single stroke roll is enunciate or sort of get a kind of a feeling of any kind of number depending on where I put the accents, right? All of a sudden, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1. Into 2, changing things up, but I'm still doing that. That's the whole point of tonight. Then I could get into things like mixed sticking, which is the stick control behind me there. First couple of pages. It's just left side. When I got these, I thought, well, what am I going to do with them? What are you going to do with that, Chris? To get melodic, I had to get my left hand going. And that starts to create kind of like a two-part melody. See what I'm getting at? So there it is. Double strokes. Notice I'm chugging along with the hi-hat there. I could straddle. Bring up the dynamic. Create a dialogue between the snare drum and the bass drum. Bit of a different show, isn't it? Did you get it?
Get it? Got it. Good.
Splashing the hi-hat to give it a different kind of colour. That's my challenge, is to keep going as much as you can. Sometimes what sounds like fairly simple stuff, but behind the player's going, oh, bloody hell. One of those things is where the week after Anzac Day, but I often mention that Remembrance Day on the 11th of November, Press Roll City. Press rolls all day long. Oh, hymns, very somber. So, let me show you some of these things. I'm going to do right, left, left. That's all. Along with just the single stroke roll. Right, right, left. Mix them up. Change time signatures. work with the sound. A drum has much more than just one sound. Notice here, I use a mallet, but I'm playing off to the side a little. Bit on the edge. Hi-hat, normal chick, splash. And as I said, this is a bit of a different show tonight, because my challenge tonight is to try and keep that going. Now, if we were just doing that on a practice pad and just keeping it going like that, you'd probably be at it for a couple of minutes and go off and watch the footy. But if you've got something to work with, even just one drum like this, you see what you can come up with. One of the things that's happening just lately is me talking about Steve Gadd a little bit, and his crazy army seems to come up, and that's just a dialogue between the snare and the bass drum. Not that I'm doing crazy army, but I'm just sort of saying it's a dialogue between the two. Then you just move. Just between two drums, maybe. Now you got to think, well, what are you going to do there? Rollicking thing, maybe. And with that, I'm back to the single stroke roll. But what I've done is that could just be 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Could be 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and a 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and a... You have to delineate. Now, maybe this show is just as crazy as last week's one. If you can say it, you can play it. But this one's about the flow. My bass thing that I'm starting with is the single stroke roll, like that. And then whatever you can put into it, you can change the time signatures, you can double tap, change the sticking a little bit. Change the drums. comes from there. Long line. Hey! Down. That's alright, mama. That's alright for you. Ready, Steve, mama, Andy. Okay, alright, fellas. Let's go. And that's the idea. Just keep it going. So tonight is also a little bit about endurance, a little bit. Who ever heard of a show with a single stroke roll all the way through without stopping? I haven't, did you? And the big challenge for me trying to keep it interesting. Now I'm going to double stroke rolls. I see it. I kind of see this like waves. Finally hit a cymbal. Let me go over things. We've got a long line. Tonight's show is all about a single stroke roll, and let's see if I can keep it going. Challenge to myself, that kind of thing. Those notes can be anything depending on how you want to count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and a 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4. Hippopotamus, 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 hippopotamus. Gina Lola Brigida, Gina Lola Brigida, Gina Lola Brigida, Gina Lola Brigida. And then double up. Like a little bit of a swell. Now, as I said, this is a challenge. Trying to get us getting, trying to get it going, make it sound interesting. What can you do? It's a bit like surprise chef, Every night you go in to make dinner and say, what do we got? Okay, we got a packet of spaghetti and a cup of sugar. Make something from that. I did it today. Spaghetti and 1 egg. Oh, carbonara! You make do with what you got. Change it up. Dynamics play such a large part. I'll go over it again. You've got 3. 1 to 10 is the volume control, if you like. There's 3. 5 is medium. 7 is loud. And then everything in between is adding a P, PP for very soft, or FF, forte. F is loud, but FF is very loud. You can even have an SFZ, Schwartz. May the Schwartz be.
But you're the one.
Yes, I am the keeper of a greater magic, a power known throughout the universe as the
Force?
No, the Schwartz.
Schwartz.
Yes, the Schwartz.
That means with force. Now what I'm doing here is the challenge of doing a show with just a basic single stroke roll. But we do the same with any particular song that we have. You know, if we're playing in a band and you've got 10 songs for a set, you've got to keep your beats going for the length of that song. You've just got to keep it going. So what I'm doing here seems a little esoteric, but it isn't so much so if I start going, that's alright mama, that's alright for you. Ballroom Blitz. So, I hope you're enjoying the show. It's very different. Every now and again I'll pull it different. Just excuse me 1 minute. Had to adjust the glasses there. Falling off my nose. Now, one of the things that you try and do with all this is, as I said, I'll just start to summarise a little bit here, but you can make it anything you want. Therefore, you can change the time signatures. Right, left is something. Right, left. Now I could go over to the tom. And all of a sudden I've got some kind of Sandy Nelson kind of surf beat. But I think you've got the gist of it, yeah? So the idea is just to keep it going. So I'll wrap the show up. I hope I passed. My name's Chris Quinlan. This is Melbourne Musos Live, and this is The Long Line. I'll go over it again once more. Keep things moving. Keep it static, mix sticking. 2-part melody, dynamics 1 to 10. And I hope you got something out of this cockamamie show. Oh, and now for a nice glass of